Got my tea. Love tea. Corporate America can be real raggedy sometimes. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be about my experience working in corporate America. So I'll start with the beginning. Well, actually, let me preface this whole story. I think corporate America is a great place if that's what you enjoy and what you were put on this earth to do. However, that person is not me. I am an entrepreneur at heart. I love entrepreneurship. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So the idea of corporate America for me was scary. I graduated in December 2017 with a degree in finance. I love finance. I think financial literacy is so important and we need to talk about it and discuss it a little more. However, sometimes we're a little late to the party with getting information on it, but it's okay. I got y'all. I was kind of nervous about corporate America because I knew that the lifestyle that I was used to and the freedom that I was used to, I wasn't really going to be able to get that working a corporate job. I didn't know how well I would do there because it's not my thing. So it was definitely an adjustment. I had to prepare my mind and get ready for it. I was working with a recruiter who was, looking for different job placements and stuff for me. Cause like I said, my mind was nowhere on finding a job when I graduated. Like I wasn't thinking about it. Ironically, it didn't take me long. So I graduated in December. I didn't start interviewing or doing any of that until March. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this whole corporate thing to see what it's like, how well I'll do there, just to say I did it and to get some experience. Because even though I own my own businesses, I feel like, now looking back on it, my thought process was I need to get a little more experience working with other people, and I did. I learned that. I actually only interviewed for this place and I got the job. So that was kind of ironic. The recruiter had really sold the company like they're supposed to do. And it seemed like from the things that she was saying about it, it was going to be a good fit for me. The environment was relaxed. It was in a nice area of Houston. The building was nice with floor to ceiling windows. It's a relatively new company. It's more like a millennial company. So I was like, okay, this is right up my alley. This is going to be a breeze. And it was an accounting firm. So I was like, okay, this is in my field of finance and accounting. So it'll be great. She sent me information on the company and the name and stuff like that. And I Googled it. Well, when I Googled the company, I saw some negative things that really made me feel uncomfortable. As a woman, it was a little Me Too-ish. So I was like, I don't really know if I want to interview with them and pursue a job with them because of this. And then I also seen some bad reviews of people saying, there's a revolving door with the company. They can't really keep anyone. And it's just it wasn't good. So I voiced that concern to the recruiter, and she was like, well, you got to keep in mind that when people are making those reviews, those are people who have left the company, and naturally if they left on bad terms, they're not going to be, so prone to say something positive about the company. So you have to remember these are people who no longer work there for whatever reason. And I was like, okay, that's true. So I shouldn't just judge my opinion and base how I feel about it on these comments. Everything that I saw before was that and some, and I got to experience it for myself. The interview process was not as nerve-wracking as I initially thought. So during my interview, I actually did speak about, my own businesses, so to say. I was asked, what do I do in my free time? What are some of my passions? And I was like, I'm really passionate about makeup and hair. On the weekends, sometimes I'll do makeup for my friends or people who ask me to do makeup, or if they want hair or wig made, I do that on the weekends. I started, it was cool. The people that I met there were cool. I really have nothing negative to say about my peers, my coworkers, at all. We would have happy hours at work, and we got to dress relaxed, and that was something that was so important to me because I didn't want to be in an environment where it was stuffy, and to have some type of flexibility where I could be stylish, but I didn't have to wear a 3-piece suit every day. And this company was that. Bottom line, the environment was really relaxed. So I liked it. So time went on, I'm getting comfortable in the job and I'm noticing things that are like not right. And things that could be improved upon, and you would think that they would try to improve on it. But I was like, okay, maybe it's because no one's really, voicing that, okay, something different can be done here. I worked in the accounting department. So part of my responsibility was to communicate with other executives and associates within the company. Well, with some of the information, we'd have to like physically go talk to these people. And as they're showing me the ropes and telling me, how it's done, I was like, oh, okay, so there'll be an iPad or something that'll let us know when we need to come back and follow up on this particular project or whatever. Like we'll get a notification. And I remember my coworker saying, no, you're gonna have to just keep like walking up there and doing this all throughout the day. Like we don't have that type of capability. So I was like, what? So in my mind, I'm thinking this is supposed to be a millennial-based company. They're supposed to be advanced and this, that, and the third. And they don't even have like an electronic system of like a way of communicating where you don't have to. So like you basically have to go and speak to each person face to face every time you need to talk to them. Okay. Now they did have emails, but honestly, like who's sitting around checking their emails every second of the day? Like in our department, we didn't have laptops. We were on desktops. So imagine getting important emails when you weren't at your desk. No one at this company is in the role that they should be in. I digress. So as I'm getting to know everyone and getting to, get comfortable in my little space, I noticed different things happening behind the scenes, and it kind of made me feel a little like weird because I've never experienced this type of environment. So I'm like, okay, just trying to get adjusted to it. Well, my superiors, two specifically, did not really care for me. And I don't quite know one of them, I don't really know where it kind of came from. The other one doesn't really care for anyone, is not a people person at all, except like the one person that they actually like, but that's neither here nor there. What's the politically correct way to put this? This person believes that the title in which they're giving is a means of power and control, and that everything that they say is right and everything that you say is wrong. Kind of like a dictatorship, except they don't own the company. So it's kind of like, can you really be like that? This particular person did not care for confident African American women. I'll say that. Because I don't think it was a matter of them being racist as much as it was them being intimidated by a woman, and especially a woman of color who knows themselves. And I'm kind of like that woman. Like, I'm not disrespectful by any means. Even if you disrespect me or make me feel mistreated in any type of way, I know how to maturely handle the situation. And that's how I kind of played my role at this job. So even though things would happen, I would never like act out of character or act out of emotion. I'll say that I'd never act out of emotion. I'm just like looking at it and I'm like, see, this is why I didn't want to come to corporate America, because I knew it was going to be like this. And I just had a negative, view on it. And this job was proving everything right. And I'm just like, I really don't like being here. And it wasn't just me who did not like being there. There were other people who had the same concerns, who had the same frustrations with the company because of lack of leadership skills. And to run a successful company, it's very important to have those leadership skills. And by successful, I'm not talking dollar amount. I'm talking successful in that I have employees who have been here from the start, and not just management, employees who have been here from the start and who plan on retiring from here. You can't have that with lack of leadership. So I remember one day I was talking to one of my coworkers, and this person was fairly new. So they were just getting adjusted to how things ran around the company and stuff like that. This person would work overtime like crazy. Like every day they were working. And, you know, a few of us kind of, you know, joked about it. We were all a pretty close knit group, like no matter the race. As far as employees, we were all pretty close or cool. We were all kind of joking with this person, saying that, you know, you work here so much, you basically have a high rise in this area. So we are laughing about it. And as this superior who doesn't care for me, all this person heard me say was, I live in a high rise in this area. Said person looks at me and says, you live where? And I look like, as if to say like, how could you afford to live in this area? Which I did live in the area. Wasn't none of their business, and we weren't talking about me. And I was like, oh no, we were just joking with this person because they're always here. So we were saying that they might as well say that they live here in a high rise because they're always in this particular building in this particular area. So they like looked at me and was like, oh, and then kept on going about their business. There were other people around me who peeped it, and I'm not gonna say anything because the last thing I want to do is be, you know, that person, that, you know, African American person who's always causing a drama or, you know, being extra sensitive. So I just was like, okay, I peeped what you did there, but girl, whatever. The higher superior, they had their select people or person that they would speak to on a regular and kind of not really no one else. But, you know, we're grown. I don't care. Like, I'm not gonna cry because you didn't speak to me. Well, when I first got there, I would speak to this person and they would like speak back. Like, hey, good morning. No response. So that happened like 2 times. After that, I was like, oh no, you got me messed up. Speak to you for what? So I stopped speaking. I would walk, they would walk, no words. I was fine with that. Like, I slept at night, I ate during the day, I woke up the next morning, I walked. It didn't bother me, it didn't faze me. In discussion, you know, with other people, they would say that the same things would happen to them. So I was like, okay, it's not just me. Like, this person does this to everyone. It started to like progressively get worse, and the environment became so toxic that I felt like I was walking into hell every day that I went to work. And not just like I'm just complaining about my job, oh, I can't stand it. The environment is a high toxic, high stress environment. And it's not the work by any means. It's management, it's poor leadership. And I'm not here to bash them. I'm not here to bash the company or what they do. I'm simply giving like my experience with working in an environment like this. So mind you, as I'm going through my breakup, I'm having to come into this high stress environment and deal with these people as well. So in my mind, I'm thinking like, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go crazy because I go home, and although I don't have a home life, you know, chaotic mess going on, I have this going on in my relationship. And then to come into work and then have this going on, like, it was literally too much. I ain't gonna say sometimes they did come through and have our back in situations when, you know, it was obvious that something needed to change. So I'm not gonna say it was all bad, but just like out of 100%, 70% was bad. And then there was a good 30%. So there was a good 30% of good times and good moments with management, with employees, with everyone. So it wasn't all bad. It really wasn't all bad. But I'm just, like I said, I'm giving this story from my perspective and what I experienced there. Well, a part of the cafeteria or kitchen was they served breakfast and lunch. We had to be to work at 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. which was the required time. And then if you had to work overtime, that was that. Now later it did change from, you got to choose your schedule kind of. It was you either come in at 8 or 9 and then whatever. And some of us associates, you know, would go and get breakfast. So I myself, and I would say about, outside of management, maybe 2 other people would come to work early every morning. Like every morning I was at work around like 7:20, between 7:20 and 7:40 I would get to work or whatever. I wanted to get my day started early, plan out what I needed to do so that when the time we're supposed to be there rolls around, I have meetings scheduled that I need to do. Everything would be kind of like in order. So I plan my day before the day officially starts. We would go get breakfast during this time or whatever. And sometimes when we would go get breakfast, it would be around like 7:45. So kind of like around 8-ish, a little after 8, we would still be eating or finishing eating, but never ever past, I would say 8:10. Came a point when they were complaining that me and a select persons were getting breakfast on company's time. Now that, I was like, what? No one was abusing the system at all. Like no one was abusing the system. I think it was just a matter of, I'm in a position titled this, so I get to say whatever I want and everyone has to do that. That's ultimately what I think it boiled down to. I say I got called into private meetings probably like 2, maybe like 3 times about me specifically getting breakfast on company's time. And I was like, what are receipts? Like, could you show me those? Because in those same receipts that you think you have, you will see that I get here early enough. So why would I be going to get breakfast after this time? Number one. Number two, we're having a discussion about breakfast. The first time it happened, I was like, they're having this conversation with everyone, so I'm not going to take it any type of way. I'm just going to be more conscious of the time. I get called into another meeting. This time it was me and someone else. We're both like in the meeting kind of looking like, what? Like, why are we here? Like, why are we both here? And they're having this discussion with us, not being direct about what they're talking about. So in my mind, I'm thinking like, what are they talking about? Like, what are they even saying? The conversation goes something like, there's been talk about, you guys have been on company's dime and, not really working when you're supposed to be working. And we need to make sure that at 8 o'clock every morning, we're in our desk and we're doing work and we're not doing anything else but work. The perception is that you're not working when you should be working, and we need to make sure that we're not wasting company's money. So I'm like, what the hell? What are we talking about here? Just racking my brain trying to figure out, like, did someone say I was doing something? Like, did I do something? Why are we having this conversation? At the end of the speech, I was like, oh, so is this about breakfast? Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it is or it's not. Do you do it? Because if you do that, then that must be what this conversation is coming from. I was like, oh, so this conversation is about us getting breakfast in the morning. Well, I make sure that I get breakfast before 8 a.m. because I'm here every morning between 7:30 and 7:45. I've learned how to take my time, take a deep breath, breathe, and then speak. I don't just off the bat speak. Every time that I would change and adjust to what the feedback I was giving, there was something else added to it. So I'm like, okay, so should I just not get breakfast? So I stopped getting it all together. Well, the next thing came, oh, I didn't say that you couldn't get it. Like, I want you to be able to get it, but which is it? To get it, don't get it, what time to get it, when can I eat? Should I eat it in front of you? Should I eat it not? Like, which is it? One day I had to renew my driver's license. Well, the driver's license department is the DMV. Is that what it's? Whatever, the place where you go get your driver's license renewed, it's always packed. There's always a long line. Well, here you have the option to, if you wake up super early in the morning, like within the first 10 minutes of the place opening, you can schedule a time where you come in and do whatever you need to do. But it goes like that. Like, you got to be up and on it. I managed to get a time slot to go and renew my license. I went to get my driver's license renewed, and when I came back, I adjusted my time at the end of the day. So instead of me saying my appointment was at 10 a.m. and I got back at 12 p.m. Instead of me putting it in that time block, I just took the hour and a half from the bottom of my time. I would go in and put my time in for the week because I knew what time I was coming there. On that day, I didn't change it because I honestly forgot. Instead of me putting the time as 10 to 11, I wasn't here, I just took it off the bottom. Instead of me saying I left at 5, I said I left at 4 to make it easier to read. So I thought, this person sends me an email saying, hey, could you go in and correct this? I was like, oh, okay, cool. I get another email. No, it looks like you didn't adjust the time. Can you come here in this meeting? They say, hey, we asked you to adjust your time. We noticed that it wasn't really adjusted, so we're trying to figure out what's going on. What's your process of putting in your time? I was like, oh, well, I did go change it, but usually on the beginning of the week, I go in and put all my time in for the week because I know what time I get here and what time I'm going to leave. And unless I do something to alter that, I don't change it. And if I do, I write myself a note to go in and adjust my time, but sometimes I forget, and like this time I forgot and you emailed me and I changed it. Well, no, this looks like this isn't really what we asked you to do. You need to correctly put in your time. If you leave at this time, you need to put that you left at that time. And when you come back, you need to put that you came back at that time. It needs to work like that. So I was like, oh, okay, that's no problem. I can go and change that. I just thought it was easier. They're like pressing the issue like, well, this is like a serious issue. It looks as though you're stealing company's time. First of all, you don't pay me enough for me to steal something. I gotta steal 2 days worth of time for it to mean something. But I digress. They sent the email about this is your final warning about breakfast. This is your final warning about stealing time from the company. People have been terminated because of this. We just want you to keep in mind that this is what happens when you do these things. About breakfast, and to lie on me and say that I'm stealing company's time when honestly, I didn't steal anything. If anything, I underestimate the time that I worked. I went to the email and I was like, basically, this seems like discriminatory towards me. I don't understand where this is coming from. Is this just a rule for me? If so, please be explicit in saying that. I noticed that no one else has this issue. Thank you for the warning, but I have never ever stolen time from the company, or the company has never paid me for time that I did not work. So of course, you know, that discriminatory word gets thrown in anywhere and it gets sent to HR. I learned that because of this situation. So they're talking and she's telling me, you know, I kind of just want to figure out, you know, you sent an email. What was the email about? What was happening? I've noticed that everything that I've been doing is getting called out. Me eating breakfast, they're lying and saying that I stole time for the company, which is an insult to my intelligence and who I am as a person, because I've never ever stolen from anyone. It's insulting and it's disrespectful because you're making an accusation, a serious accusation against me, and it's not true. I stopped getting breakfast. I let it go. I stopped getting to work early. The level of excellency in which I'm used to, you know, in business, they lacked, and I was super uncomfortable. No matter how unfair they treated me, I still maintained a happy spirit. I still maintained a level of professionalism and confidence, even given all the things that happened there. No matter what I do, this person isn't breaking. Like, they're not being rude to me, so you can't say that she's rude, no one gets along with her, because everyone got along with me. But I think that really like got under their skin, like no matter what I do. And they couldn't throw their money in my face. Like, they favor people who they think needs them. And I'm not gonna let anybody think that I need them. I had become at peace with it. It was October, I journaled. I will be out of here by December 31st, 2019. I will be on to better, living my purpose, working my own businesses. This is what I would be doing. November rolls around. Everyone was always afraid of getting the call saying to come to this conference room on this floor because that meant that you were getting fired. Someone got fired at least every other day. Yeah, something like that. And it was a real weird thing because I wasn't expecting it at that time because, like I said, I became at peace with it, so it wasn't even on my mind. Starts talking and says, we just want to let you know this is going to be your last day here. This sense of relief just washed over my body. I could literally cry. We're going to have to, let you go because of your performance, I think she told me. I smiled, and I was like, okay. She's walking me downstairs like, oh my God, this is the best day I've had since working here. And she was like, really? This was never supposed to be my final stop anyway, so it just worked out. The timing was just right. And she was just like, oh, I learned so much there. I learned about conflict resolution, how to handle a work environment that is high stress, how to minimize the stress. And I know that from my own businesses. Yeah, it was overall an experience for me. I'm shocked that I lasted a year and a half. We're on to bigger and better things. And I'm gonna say, corporate America isn't for everyone. Entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. Find your lane, stay in your lane, and you're gonna be okay. So that's gonna be it for this story time. That is the story of me getting fired from my first corporate job. Like I said, I learned a lot. I don't think the company's a bad company. They just need some work. And this was just my experience. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.